Good morning, good afternoon, depending on whenever you may be watching this video. I wanted to come on and share with you guys for just a few minutes pertaining to some questions I've gotten recently about coaching versus counseling. And honestly, the big question is, what do you do? So I figured there's probably some people that are confused about what I do and confused about the difference between the two of those. And so I'm going to address that for a few minutes and then kind of tell you specifically what I've been doing for 8 years, and I've just been talking about it a little more lately. So let's start off with the difference between coaching and counseling. Counseling, which I'm clearly familiar with, I'm a licensed social worker. I've sat in the counseling space with families and teens for many years, and we focus as counselors a lot on past behaviors, past trauma, and then moving through that past behavior to get to where we are today and then see how to move forward from that. So it's really taking a deep dive and a deep look at past behavior as it relates to current behavior and trauma that you may have experienced. Coaching is very different in that we really focus on the here and now. It is very goal oriented. I provide or help, I don't provide, I work with my families and my teens to create short and long-term goals. And so that's kind of the difference between the two. Now, that being said, do I rely on my counseling skills? Does counseling come into play when I am doing coaching? Absolutely yes. Because I am a licensed social worker and have a counseling background, I am a big believer of where we come from clearly makes up our behaviors today or has a part of that today. So that's kind of the difference between the two. And the space that I've been sitting in for the last 8 years is actually providing coaching services. And so I've been coaching small groups, large groups of teens, individuals, families for 8 years. I just haven't really discussed it a lot because, as you guys probably know, I've also been standing on every stage, every platform that will allow me to stand and talk to as many people as I can about social media safety. So how have I merged all of this? For me, it's been really amazing in the fact that I've been able to take my counseling skills as well as coaching, and coaching again, talking about short and long-term goals. I was in the fitness arena for a while, not as competing, but as a coach. And so I am very familiar with short and long-term goals. I get very excited about setting them and achieving them. So I have that, and then I happen to have this niche, but this little thing, right, that I've been working on for the last 8 years. It's not a little thing, actually, it's absolutely huge and affects everyone, our children, our young adults, and our adults alike, and that is social media, device use, and how it is affecting us psychosocial, socially, emotionally, physically. There's so many things that go along with that. So having the skills and the knowledge in that arena, I have been able to combine all three of these things into what I do today. Yes, I do coach families, teens, young adults in the space of, well, more than just social media, if you will, but I do have an emphasis on that. And so many times families will come to me when, or a parent will come to me if their child has had some missteps when it comes to social media, and it's my job to sit down with the child or with the teenager, talk about what they've done, talk about how it's affecting their life, and then we sit down and we make short and long-term goals going forward. How do they want their social media to represent them? How do they want things to look as they are moving forward? And the other thing that we work on that I think is incredibly important is boundaries. So I teach teenagers and I also teach parents how to set boundaries. For teens, something looks like, if they're having trouble at school or having trouble with their friends when it comes to social media, and maybe they're experiencing peer pressure to post something, say something online, we come up with solutions and ways to say no to that, a way to establish a boundary that is healthy for them and healthy for those friendships. That always doesn't necessarily mean maintaining those friendships, but we work on ways that we can have conversations if they get into a situation that is similar to that. What do they say? What do they do? So they're not in the situation cold, and so they're not going to falter on their goals. Same thing with parents. With parents, we work on boundary setting with your children, which is so incredibly important. One of the other things that I work on with parents is leading with confidence, parenting with confidence instead of leading from fear, especially in the social media space. And so we are taking a look at what those boundaries look like, what that looks like in your home, with your children, with your teens, etc. Now, another huge component of that is we also work on communication with your children. One of those ways is if we are taking away a device or having a hard goal that we are trying to reach that week, we're going to replace that with something that is positive and encouraging and relationship building with your teenager or with your children. These are just some of the ways that I meet and talk with parents. So I just wanted to kind of let you know a little bit about what I do. I had gotten some questions lately, and it's been amazing in the fact that, you know, anxiety and depression is at an all-time high right now. Talk to any pediatrician, talk to your general physician, and they will tell you probably most of their continuing education is coming from the space of mental health. And the reality is sometimes it's weeks or months before a kid or a teenager or an adult can get in to see a counselor. And while I do absolutely refer a lot of my clients out to counselors, sometimes it's really nice, it's really affirming, it's really supportive to be able to come see me as a coach. We can get started on setting goals that's going to help you be able to move forward and feel more comfortable about a lot of the things that are going on in your life, especially if it is involving social media. I just so happen to be very knowledgeable in that area, especially with the years of work that I have spent with children and teens, talking to them, researching, lots of research about what to do and how to handle these situations. So I just want to let you guys know there is a difference. If you're needing support, if you're needing help, reach out to me, kmbcommunications@yahoo.com. Give me a call, 770-558-9931. I'm always here. I want you to know that help is available. I'm not the only one that's out there that is a coach in this area or a counselor. If you're struggling, if you feel like things are too hard, if they feel overwhelming for you, please, please find someone to talk to that can support you in your space. Because the last thing that we want to feel like is that we are alone and to get stuck in that space. All right, so that's it. Thanks for listening.